Hey, sister.
Mm. Well, hello.
Mm. We are bringing you all another series. We're pretty excited to bring this one forward, bring this one into the light. Um, Gosh, collectively, Stacey and I have almost over 40 years of corporate America experience, sales, marketing, DEI, HR. And so we felt it very profound as we are guided within this beautiful still podcast to bring forward the series that we're titling Break the System and let us know what that means to you. Like, what does system mean to you? Um, and so we're going to have, if you tuned in, we had Wounded Feminine. This is going to be around all things breaking the system. And today we're really diving into this facade, this organizational facade that companies, organizations, systems put forward to put on this good face, this good front. Marketing is such a gem in this realm of, hey, so we're going to dive in to all of this. This is going to be juicy indeed. And what does system mean to you, Stacey?
Well, right now it means a turning of my stomach, just even hearing it. Oh, yeah, I just feel the heaviness of it. Even the word, just system, it just feels not human because it's not. And what it means to me, from my experience in corporate, and even before I got into corporate, I was in old school telemarketing and sales and all of that. There was a system there as well. Call center system. Oh my gosh, that's a whole culture in and of itself. But what it means is, as you talked about, Jill, it is the facade. Like there are systems that are in place to keep the facade going. So when I think of system, I'm just reminded of being in meetings where we're deciding corporate values. What are the core values? What are the guiding principles we're operating under? And it's integrity and respect and dignity and all of these really wonderful things. And then systems get put in place that completely obliterate integrity and respect and dignity. And the facade is what gets really rewarded and acknowledged is the bad behavior of the people. Because let's be honest, the culture really is the collective lived experience of the people in an organization. That's what the culture really is. I don't care what your core values are hanging on the wall, a mission statement, DEI council puts out a strategy, and whatever that is, all right. But the reality is, my lived experience in your organization, yeah, I'm experiencing the culture, how it breathes, how it lives every single day. And there's, in my experience, in my own experience as an employee, as a leader, and then as a consultant working with organizations to help them with DEI strategy and implementation and vision and all of that, there is this facade. And that is not to say that there aren't some individuals out there with true intentions and the best laid plans. Yeah, this is where this work actually sits and thrives. The reality is it's not happening in the day-to-day lives of the people who work in the organization by and large. These are broad generalizations we're going to be making, everybody, because I know people will jump in and like, not my company, not my manager, not this. And I want to tell you that unfortunately, everything that you're bringing up would be the exceptions to the norms. We're talking about the norms traditionally, historically, and what's still going on. So the system is broken.
Yeah,
System
there is
doesn't
something
work.
I really want to pinpoint on this too within system for me is, yeah, it's the system that is built in whatever industry you find yourself. It is a system, whether you are in
Right.
healthcare, government, education, um, consumer packaged goods, whatever industry that you are finding yourself in, this is a system. It is a organism that has been operating for a very long time. And the other piece is when the time came that money was the most important piece, and money was the go-to, albeit takes the lead before values, before people, like humans interaction. That I think is a whole other thing that could be a whole other piece. But I wanted to like anchor that in with systems. If you're out there listening, and this is what we're talking about within the systems. And this facade is like this fakeness. I've definitely found myself in different situations, organizations throughout my entire career where it's like revolting what is put out there for the broad public,
Mhm.
and then to be inside an organism that is, I mean, the best way I could put it, like dying, feels like absolute death, like
Mhm.
misalignment for myself. And I also want to point out, like, if you are out there listening, maybe you are in a unicorn situation. I know I definitely find myself in a super unicorn, um, place right now. But that I'm also so aware, given the path and the different places I've been, how unicorn it is.
Yeah.
When the facade is like, we take back the veil and get back to the core, which is the people. And I know you've seen this time and time again with your consulting and within your leadership roles of, okay, like DEI, this matters now. And oh, now we need to focus on diversity. Uh, okay, looking around the room, it's all white people. We need to focus on diversity now. And then it becomes this whole place where then, a woman as yourself is called in to like, let's make this work. So then it's another facade, band-aid on the real systematic situation.
Yes, to all of that. And, this historically has been what I've seen dating back like to when I started this work in the 90s. Yup, I'm that old. Uh, but starting with compliance. Okay, so now it's not compliance, it's compliance and diversity. We need to have a more diverse workforce. It's just popped in my. I remember working at an organization which shall remain unnamed in the 90s where we were doing diversity recruitment. Well, I was doing diversity recruitment. And basically, I had a leader tell me who was one of the descendants of the founders of the organization say,
Mm.
what do we need this for? Like, I feel like everybody's equal and we should all be treated with respect. Um, but I don't need quotas. I don't need like, oh, X number of women in my organization. Now that makes me a better company just because we have 50% women and 50% men. And like this whole kind of thing was just coming up. But at the end of it, he said, and by the way, Stacey, if we have to do this diversity thing, this spin, that's what he called it. If we have to do this diversity thing, this spin, then yeah, I guess you would be the one to do it because you're a woman and you're African American. And so, yeah, you should represent it. I remember being in my early 20s and going, this is not my problem to fix. I am going to lead some things, but this is not for me to fix. It's not HR's problem to fix. This is an institutional issue that is comprised of multiple systems that support all kinds of things, marginalization, disenfranchisement. And I'm talking just in corporate because that's my experience. But what I shared with him and others along the way, it's like in reality, corporate is just a microcosm of society at large. just because we show up to some office or some factory or some wherever we show up to work doesn't mean we forget who we are out in these streets. If you're a nasty individual out in these streets, you're probably going to be a nasty individual when you come to work. If you
Mm.
are a heart centered and heart led human in these streets, you're probably going to show up and be heart led and heart centered. And it doesn't mean that you're doing everything right or well. It just means that you're starting at a better place. But the facade is that we're really thinking that we can put all these flowery words. Shout out to my daddy who always talks about the flowery words. Yeah, Ronnie. Um,
We love you,
put all
Daddy.
these love you. Put all these flowery words around it. And what I've seen from the 90s till now is really this slow evolution. There are some spikes that come with certain social and civil events and world events. And to your point, it's like, oh, we got to focus on diversity now. Oh, wait, it's not about diversity. We have to focus on inclusion. Yeah. Oh, wait, we need to focus on belonging. Oh,
Those
yeah.
pop words, those pop
All of
words.
this. And I'm not diminishing it because, yeah, I spent my career doing this work. I'm so passionate about it. And it still really upsets me that in this day and age, 2024, we are still having the same conversations that I was having in the 90s. So let's call it what it is. Like these systems are put in place to support patriarchy and to support capitalism and competition over collaboration and collective advance. That's not what this is. Here's the other reality for people. I laugh about this because I remember going, what are you talking about? My side hustles during my corporate career, especially early on, because I saw the facade very clearly and very early, it was like, okay, yeah, this ain't it. Mm-mm. I'm not guaranteed to be retiring here with a gold pin. That's not happening.
The
Let me
gold
make this do
pin,
what I
though.
need. You get the gold
Let's,
pin.
you get the 20
Yay, you worked
years,
here for 70,000 years.
10,
Yay. Here's your gold pin.
70,000.
I'm not doing that. I'm not. I've been to too many of my grandparents and elderly people in my lives, retirement parties. Yeah, that I knew that wasn't going to be my bag. So no. But people go, oh, you're in that network marketing. Oh, that's a Ponzi scheme. Oh, that's this, that's that. Meanwhile, I'm stacking money on the side because I know that's my way out. And I remember telling somebody, it's like, actually, corporate is a Ponzi scheme. Corporate is a pyramid. They're like, no, it's not.
Mm.
You are never going to make more money than that CEO. You are never going to rise higher in the ranks than that CEO. It is designed to be to keep you here.
It
And you can
literally is a
advance, but
pyramid.
the higher you go, the less opportunities there are for you to go higher because there's nowhere else
The
to go.
legit glass
It's the
ceiling.
pyramid. It's the
I can see
straight
everything
pyramid.
up to the top.
It's a
And
glass
how do I
ceiling.
get
It's a
there?
sticky floor. It's all kinds of things that we call in the DEI space, especially for specific historically marginalized populations. It's all of that. And then we say it's a meritocracy. I'm calling BS on that. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's the facade. Do A, B, and C to meet these requirements and fulfill these things, and we'll recognize you and reward you. You do A, B, and C, you do A through Z, and you're still not recognized and rewarded when someone else who only did A is recognized and rewarded
I
and
mean, you do
advanced.
AA plus ZZ does not equal you
Exactly.
getting
Right.
the
This is
thing.
not a true meritocracy. That's a facade.
I want to go back to the like pure, like, what's the word? It's not dissatisfaction, the like anguish and honestly the sadness of it is 2024 and you are hearing the same things from the 90s. When we pause and take a look at other systems within technology, the evolution of other systems, if we're thinking of like tech, science, some of the speed and the evolution,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always it's a question of like, And why is this one so slow? Is it because it's a human place where such high level egos are unable to
Mm-hmm.
be sat aside? Is it, and I'm asking these questions, if you're out there listening, like these are questions for everyone, all of us, me, everyone to be asking, like, is my ego so strong that I won't sit aside? If you are on some of these boards, you are making some of these decisions, like what is your focus when you're looking around, you're having these large, team meetings, team, retreats, whatever the things are that you're doing? Because I'm seeing a lot of these being posted on LinkedIn, into like, it's like new year and you're doing your strategy
Mm-hmm.
stuff and all these things. And like, where is your true focus? And beyond that, beyond the focus is like, what are you trying to hide by not evolving at a quicker speed? And I
Yeah.
know like you've gone into some crazy situations because we've chatted about them. And it's like, I just remember the one conversation we had when you went in, because some of these organizations, it's like, it does take a consultant at a specific level to be like, I remember your words, Stacey, like, nah, you have an ugly baby. This is
Mm-hmm.
ugly. And to call it
Mm-hmm.
forward to the level of like, because here's the thing, this is in our lives, in our relationships and everything. We can't
Yeah.
see it clearly because sometimes you're just so in it.
Yes. And here's the other facade that comes with these systems is that you could be inside and see it very clearly and completely experience it and be saying it. You could say it till you're
Mm,
blue in the face. You could scream it from the mountaintops. And your organization, in these cases I'm talking about, will not hear you, will not hear you. But they'll bring someone like me in from the outside to come in and basically echo what you've been saying for years. And they'll go, this is genius. This is brilliant. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is the status where we are right now. Oh, when we show them the lay of the land and we hold up the mirror and all of that. And they'll believe what an external consultant will say and not listen to the people who are living and breathing the culture every single day. That has always been something that was astounding to me, especially being in leadership roles and thinking,
mm.
well, now I'm at this level. Now, I'm at the global level, setting the strategy, contributing to the overall strategy for the company, blah, blah, blah. Surely they'll hear me now when I'm saying, this is what it is. Here's how we need to move forward. Nah. It's like, oh, really? Okay. Well, let's bring in blank and blank and associates or whomever. And they just come in and say what I've been saying, say what my whole team, say what we all have been saying. And then they'll have the conversations with us like, we're not telling you guys anything new. Like, you've been saying this to us the whole time as we've been consulting. They're hearing it. And sometimes your message is better received from a different messenger. Got it, understand. But at the root of it, like these organizations are in business for themselves, for competition, for profit, for money. This is not a moneymaker in direct comparison to like sales or engineering. Like that's the bread and butter of the organization. So all of these other things are like, it's people stuff, it's real people-y. Stick it in HR or stick it in a circle of excellence.
You know
Like,
what?
no,
This is
no.
where there's been quite a bit of research, obviously, in the last couple of years, I think, as um, folks have really been taking into account their own well-being, and organizations
Oh,
realizing,
yeah,
which I mean, COVID slapped this all in front of our faces, of there is actual ROI when the people
absolutely.
are listened to, when the culture is the number one, when actuality, not a facade, when the actual root of the culture of the living and breathing organism that is the people because without the people, where is the organism that is the organization? When they are the focus, I think there are a lot more report. I don't have the stats in front of me right now, but it
The
is an
stats are everywhere.
it's
People
an
can go look.
astounding. We could Google it right now for you to get
It's
these
all
if you
out there.
need it. And then we will asterisk it and say, go to the appendix in my presentation today. It's it's the action, it's the truth. And it's so blinding, all of this feedback that's available, that it does come back to the question of like questioning the organization, like, what are you really trying to hide? And it is that absolute attachment to competition, to capitalism.
Yeah.
That's the place that really gets to be broken. Like, we get to break
Yeah.
that old.
Break it all. Because if we're not breaking it and we're just patching it, band-aiding it, doing that, we are talking about a slow evolution that I don't really know will get us where we really say we want to go.
I mean,
I've
it's the
always been a
same thing
proponent
since
of
the
a complete
90s. Let's go.
revolution. Like, break this. It should be a revolt. Like, this is revolting. Break it. Let's build it. And there's a whole other school of thought on, okay, then who would build it? Got it. That's a whole other thing. We're just talking about the systems as they exist now. And then here's the other system, rewards and recognition system, that gets to be broken. And look, I fully participated in this. The golden handcuffs from corporate or other systems. It's like, yeah, we're going to treat you like this, or yeah, we're going to dangle all this stuff in front of you. Like, we're moving toward inclusivity, we're moving toward belonging. Yes, absolutely. Uh-huh. And you're sitting there miserable, but now you're what, 10 years into it, 8 years, 5 years, 20 years, whatever. And you've established a particular lifestyle. You've bought the house. You've bought the car. You now have vacations you go on. Oh, you only drink certain water now and not this one. Like, you've shifted, and the recognition comes that, oh, if I walk away, like, there's a safety and security, paternal, taken care of from the corporate space, that gets locked in. And you're like, man, I don't want to go somewhere else and start from scratch. Like, I'm here. And then if I go somewhere else, maybe I have to start here. So you stay, you stay, you stay. You might be looking for another role. I found another gig, cool. And maybe you go here to here, or even in the promoted area, you're still in the same golden handcuffs, because they've got you by stock options. They've got you by giving back in your name. They've got you by all these other things. But at its core, the system is still the system, and it's still working against, perhaps, your very principles and your core values. And yet we stay. And that is not judgment. That is just the reality. We stay because we feel like we're beholden to this system that takes care of us. And it feels good. I loved having my house. I loved having my car. I loved my vacations. I loved all of those things. Yeah. Why would I walk away from that? And oh, now that I put so much time in, it's like a bad relationship. Like, oh, now I'm so invested, I'll just stick it out. No, no, that's
Yeah.
something that also gets to be broken.
Yeah. We're going to dive into this if you all stay with us on this series. The next episode, we're really going to bring forward self, because right now we're really honing in on the organization and what's going on behind the scenes. And this is a call forward. I don't even like that call forward. It's just like, take the action, like, break the facade. Because if you're listening to this and you are having pings of like, oh, dang, yeah, I sat
Yeah.
on that council. I sat in those conversations. I called forward the consultants. I was in those rooms. This is all that this conversation is evoking, is a what facade is being played out right now. If there is one, we're not saying this is, happening everywhere. It's not. Great job calling forward the organizations that are putting, the people, which is again the breathing part of the organism, the people first. But like really take into account some of these things, that Stacey has said, um, around. I mean, this is literally what you spent years and years. You're so devoted to this work. I know you still take on clients, um, definitely by application at this juncture. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it's time. The 90s music was fun and all, but like, I mean,
Yeah, I'm envisioning a world, and I don't even know if it's realistic, but I'm envisioning a world where 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years from now, people are not still having the same conversation about the systems that need to be broken in corporate America, in academia, in healthcare, in government, wherever it is you work, at the hair salon, in retail, like wherever it is. What are the things that need to be done to break the systems? They're already broken, and yet they're still working really, really well for the oppression and suppression of so many people. So that's what we're talking about breaking. And maybe individually, as part of the collective in these systems, your contribution is breaking the silence. Maybe your contribution is being the person in those meetings calling it out and going, wait, this is not lining up with what we said we value. Oh, this is not lining up with what we said we really want to see happen for the people in our organization. We say flexible work. We say, all
mm,
these things. And yet at midnight, I'm the leader and I'm sending out emails and I'm on Slack doing all this stuff. I could say all I want to say. I'm setting this example that this is the culture I'm creating on my team, in my organization. This is what has to get broken. Like these are the
mm.
behaviors that have to get
Well, we
broken.
gonna break it. We are breaking it in this series. Let us tell you, we are doing um what we can, which is using our voice and our life experiences to just bring some of this to the light. And
Yeah.
so I think this is a good juncture today. We'll close out with this very first part one of this Break the System series, little journey we're going to go on together. We'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe, like, share this. Please share this with someone that needs
Yeah.
to hear hear these words right now. And until next time, we're sending you a lot of love.
We are. Stay tuned. There's so much juiciness in this series.